You're listening to the REI Marketing Nerds Podcast, the leading resource for real estate investors who want to dominate their market online. Dan Barrett is the founder of AdWords Nerds, a high-tech digital agency focusing exclusively on helping real estate investors like you get more leads and deals online, outsmart your competition, and live a freer, more awesome life. And now, your host, Dan Barrett.
All right, I'm here with Dustin Amodo from Island Property Buyers. That's at islandpropertybuyers.com. He's buying homes over in the lovely island of Oahu. Dustin, how are you, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing super well. I will tell you, though, I had a sudden pang of anxiety just now when I was reading your intro, because I said that Oahu was an island. And then for a second, I was like, wait, it's an island, right? It's an island. And I was like, yes, I think it is an island. So it is an island, right? You can confirm that for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's one of Hawaii's islands. It's actually the main island.
Yeah.
In Hawaii.
Is Oahu the one that they call the Big Island? Is that what the deal is?
No, Oahu's, I guess they would call it the busy island because it's the most populated and busy. There's, the Big Island, which is actually named Hawaii. The nickname is Big Island. That's like the biggest island out of all the islands, but it's on more of the south end of the Hawaiian island.
Okay. I really need to get down there, man. This has been a place I've wanted to visit my whole life, so I really need to figure it out and make it happen. Now, were you born in Hawaii? Like, how did you end up down there?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Oahu, Hawaii. Grew up in Mililani, partially Pearl City. Yeah, and I moved to San Antonio for a little on, and I just moved back to Hawaii, say, about 10 years ago, actually.
So why were you in San Antonio? Were you there for work or for school or just traveling?
Actually, my mom moved up there, and she married a military guy. So, he got stationed up there, and we moved up there, and they actually ended up moving somewhere else, but I just decided to come back home.
Yeah. Well, let me ask, so I've never been to Hawaii, right? And I think it's funny, like, I think if you live, anywhere else in the United States, right? Hawaii is kind of like a semi-mythical, like place where it's like, it's like, I live in Connecticut and I love Connecticut. I love New England. I'm a New Englander born and bred. That's how I am. But, it's like someone says to you, like, oh, what's it like in Connecticut, right? You're really like, it's not Hawaii, right? It's kind of like just this toss-off thing where it's like, Hawaii is this very, beautiful place off in the distance. So what made you want to move back, right? So you were there and you moved away and you made the decision to go back. So what was it about Hawaii that drew you back there? And now, obviously, you have your investing business there. What was it that brought you back?
I guess it just was home. I was actually already planning before I even moved to San Antonio. I was already planning on just staying just for a little while, just to see how it is. But I was already had it set in my mind that I was going to move back. I just have a lot of family and friends down here, and they're here. Born up, my roots is here, and the food, the weather. I just love the weather and the food, and you have all your friends and family. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah. So, how did you get started in real estate investing? First of all, let's take a step back. You tell me a little bit about Island Property Buyers. Like, what kind of investing do you guys do? How long have you been in business? That kind of thing.
Okay. So, so Island Property Buyers is actually my second real estate investing and management company. I just created this company in January. So my first company was BR Investors, which is still active. But the reason why I created this one, because I figured this year I was changing my whole acquisition strategy, the whole structure of the company. Mostly it was for the acquisition strategy. So I wanted to change the name to something that I could use that would really be like marketing. So I would have the name already, so if I just say it's somebody, I work for Island Property Buyers, it kind of says what we do already. as in my original company, which was DRA Investors. Like, oh, I work for DRA Investors, or if you have that logo somewhere, it's like, oh, what is that? DRA Investors, you know. But when it says I am property buyers, oh, maybe the guy buys property, maybe I have a house to sell. Mm-hmm. So I figure, yeah, that was one of the main reasons. Yeah, one of the main reasons. Plus, when you have your logo, you have your website, and you just have your your whole branding on that one name that actually says what you do. I figure it'll be a lot more helpful on the acquisition side of things.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a thing in the real estate investing space specifically, where it's like most people they're not searching for brand names necessarily. I think there's some of that with like We Buy Houses and the Ugly Houses kind of stuff, right? But I think generally people just know they want to sell their house, right? So you're usually kind of thinking about and searching for some variation of that. So,
yeah.
So what got you into real estate investing specifically? Like, did you have a background in real estate? Does that run in your family at all?
No, actually not at all. I've always been interested in real estate. I've always kind of somehow knew that the biggest transactions and most common biggest transactions happens in real estate. And so right after high school, I got into the Carpenters Union, and I was working construction. I've been a carpenter for about 12 years. Right after high school, journeyman for about 6 years.
Yeah.
And when you work construction, it's good. When you're working in a union, you get paid pretty good, but the jobs are just up and down, and it just was really unsteady. And I just kept thinking I got to find something else. So I figured. I've always liked to flip things, buy something and do something to it and, make some kind of profit. So I said, why not combine, the most common known, wealth of creation vehicle, real estate, with my strong, solid background of construction. And I kind of just combined the two. And so, yeah, so the first thing I did was I looked for a mentor in Hawaii, and I came across Michael Benzella. I took his course. He definitely pointed me in the right direction, and from there, I just kept pounding away and just trying to find deals and fun deals and dispose of it and make some kind of profit.
Yeah. Do you think that your background in construction and in carpentry, do you feel like that helps you see deals differently than the average investor who maybe doesn't have that background?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very helpful because I can just look at a property through pictures or just look at the detail of the property, and I can just analyze the whole deal very quickly because I'll know how much the rehab will be, especially when dealing with contractors, also knowing if they're a good contractor, if they're expensive or low, because I ran a lot of side jobs before myself, and I kind of have the idea and eye for the work that needs to be done, or any type of cosmetic or mechanical repair of the property.
Yeah. So when you look at deals, right, do you look at them primarily? Do you think about the repairs? I guess I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to ask here, because I think most investors, right, a lot of the way that they think about deals is they're like, I'm trying to buy deals in this area, or, on this block, or, whatever. They're thinking mostly about the numbers on paper, right?
Right.
Do you feel like for you, is it the kind of thing where you've got to actually go in there and really think about the repairs and really think through it yourself? Are you able to kind of make that more of a process and remove yourself from it a little bit? What's your kind of preferred way of thinking through, what a deal could possibly make you?
Right. So, one thing that I've learned is that I've always be conservative with the numbers. So I always, add another, roughly about 10% in rehab costs. Always be conservative. Always, always have a lot of cushion. I try to go for bigger profit margins with $100,000 profit margins, not because of the profit, but just in case something happens or some kind of permit is unable to come through, that you still have a lot of at least you can just make something small, or at least you could even just break even, or just minimize the risk as most as possible.
I it's funny because I've definitely talked about that on this podcast, with this idea of it's not so much, swinging for the fences as hard as you possibly can and trying to hit the world's biggest home run. It's more about continuously making sure you cap your downside, right? Because you look at investors who flame out or go out of business. It's not like they just didn't make enough money over time and they starved to death. It's that they did one terrible deal that like completely exploded their business, right? And I think if you every time, like you said, like you're building in the margin, you're not going to do that deal if you don't have that margin. Well, just make sure, maybe you make slightly less, on one deal or another deal compared to another investor, but you're never going to be completely taken out of the game either.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that I was, it kind of took some time for me to learn that and respect that though, because when you're first starting out, you know, a lot of times you get impatient, you get kind of emotionally attached to the deal and you just try to force it.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing I really learned is, try to have an abundance mindset that deals will just continually come as long as you're doing acquisitions the right way. So, if that deal it just didn't go through, and just move on to the next deal. And, sooner or later, if you're doing the marketing right and you're surrounding yourself with the right people, I think you'll definitely, come across deals and, just go after the deals with the most least risk. Because I know a lot of investors that, they do a lot of deals, 20, 30 deals a year, but the profit margins are so slim. Yeah. And I'd rather save my time, effort, and energy, just do, maybe do like several, few, but just real, minimize risk and, just be real conservative. And when it does go through, then you just have that nice chunk to play with after,
Are you an investor who wants to dominate your local market? Do you want more leads and deals online? Then download your copy of the Motivated Seller Blueprint absolutely free at www.adwordsnerds.com/gift. What are you waiting for? Go to www.adwordsnerds.com/gift right now to get your copy of the Motivated Seller Blueprint.
Are there like red flags for you where if you go check out a deal, whether it's you're talking to the owner or you're walking the property or, any part of that process, are there things where you like notice them and you're like, that's a huge red flag. I need to be careful here?
Not mostly just, I guess to see how, if I look at the property, I know I'm pretty much capable of repairing anything or, having somebody repair. I know anything is pretty much fixable. It's just that, just to see how motivated they are. I think that's one thing. And to see if they're just, to see how serious they are. I think that's the most, how motivated they are is the most important thing to me. Because other than that, a deal is a deal, and if the numbers line up, the numbers got to pencil in, and if you guys can't come to terms, then that's okay. Then you should probably offer them another solution with, possibly listing their home with a realtor or doing selling their home on their own.
Yeah. How do you tell if someone's motivated or not motivated, for that matter? Like how do you read people that way?
So usually I ask them, if I made you a cash offer, how fast are you willing to close? What are your plans when we close? They have somewhere to go. What are you looking to get out of your property? Mm-hmm. Usually just the type of situation they're in is how I really tell how motivated they are and how much, they want to sell their house and how much they're willing to move forward and, how fast they want to close also.
Let me kind of change tacks a little bit because I realized that you were talking about when you got into real estate investing, you worked with a coach, and I missed the name of the coach, the mentor that you found in Hawaii. What was that person's name?
Michael Mazzella.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a course. It's called HonoluluMentor.com. That's his website. Yeah. His it was about 4-day long course. And yeah, he definitely shows you the way. And, after you're done with the course, he's still willing to, help you out and stuff like that too. Yeah, I mean, there's there's a lot of guys that, down in Hawaii that, I've connected with too. Some great guys that I partnered with on a couple other deals before. And, some other great guys too that, I always ask for, advice and recommendations and tips is Corey Nimoto and Michael Lewin, Kikoa. So those guys too are very super helpful and super great, and some really good guys to connect with too in Hawaii.
So do you think that is there like a pretty cohesive real estate investing community down there? Are there like, meetups and that kind of thing? Is it pretty well established or not so much?
There's actually quite a bit, actually. There's several meetups like REI, like real estate investing, like mastermind meetups. I know there's a lot of like passive cash flow income type of meetups. I usually just go to like the masterminds, usually mostly with flippers. Mm-hmm. But I know there's quite a bit, but I hardly ever get time to get out and go out and do this, go to those type of meetings.
Yeah. Well, I know it's tough, but it's interesting because I think a lot of times the areas that have that, even if you don't end up using it a whole ton, because you get busy, everybody gets busy, right? But I think the areas that have that kind of community, they just, even if it's just someone you can call up on the phone, I think that makes a huge difference. So if you were going to talk to somebody that's, a new investor, they're looking to get into it, or even like go back in time and talk to yourself, right? What would you tell yourself? Would it just be to, hey, jump into the coaching program, like just get started that way? Or would you tell yourself to do it a different way, knowing what you know now?
In simple terms, I would say, I mean, the main focus is just to, in order to make it work, is find a deal, fund the deal, and be conservative. Always be looking for mentors. Always have people to ask questions. Keep them close to you, and have follow the guys that's real successful and has done this before and has a really good track record of how they flip homes. Just connect with those guys, and those guys will be happy to guide you and possibly even work with you also.
Well, let me kind of leave it like this, because I know we're running short on time and everything. But if you were going to sit down with someone right now that's getting into investing, and you've done a variety of different marketing channels, you're also in a really unique market. I think Hawaii is a very different market from San Antonio or Connecticut or other places in the United States. What's something that you would change about the way that you did things, specifically your marketing? Is there anything that you wish you're like, I wish I could go back a couple of years and kind of redo this or do it differently? Yeah,
so I guess the acquisition strategy was one thing that I really changed this year. And so last year I did have a website last year, and I was mostly doing cold calling and direct mailing. So I'd do like driving for dollars, look for properties, take them down, and send them mailers. But I mean, I know for some people it works, but for some, for me it wasn't. I'm not sure if it's the market I live in, but I wasn't getting too much feedback. I wasn't, I felt like it wasn't enough. So instead of me pinpointing all these, properties, single amount going, instead I switched acquisition strategy to, instead of pinpointing, to cast a wide net and have them, come to me, and have motivators come to me with, the online marketing with, you guys, AdWords Nerds, the SEO, the PPC, and also I also do bandit signs too. Although in Hawaii, I mean, I don't think it's legal, but sometimes I just I still put it up, and I've been getting leads and deals from that one, from bandit signs also. But I still hit the MLS also. I mean, I keep a good eye on that, and I'm always just slamming out offers on the MLS. I kind of just like mostly just try to pull in volume rather than pulling in the quality. So I guess this year I'm mostly just focusing on the volume of leads rather than on the quality, because I think with volume, I think quality will come.
Yeah, I think it's pretty market specific, right? So it's like your market, you know, kind of the volume of leads that are out there, you know what you can do with them. I think, you know, if someone's in Houston or whatever, where they're paying $40 a click or something ridiculous, they might want to do it differently. But I think it's the perfect example of you kind of adapt to your environment. You know what the situation you're in, you know what your market's doing, and you're dialing in your market accordingly, right? So that's exactly what anybody would want to do. They want to do what's right for them and their market.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. Well, that was amazing, Dustin. I really appreciate it. So again, if anybody's listening to this, you want to look up Dustin, like I said, he's at Island Property Buyers. Their website is islandpropertybuyers.com. They are buying homes over on Oahu. Dustin, anywhere else that you want people to follow up with you or try to find you online if they want to get in touch or say what's up?
Yeah, sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Dustin Amodo is my username. Dustin, last name Amodo. Yeah, just follow me on Instagram. Shoot me a follow. I'll follow you back. You know, we can maybe talk some story and stuff like that.
Well, I did not know you were on Instagram. Now I'm going to follow you on Instagram, and you can watch me post all pictures of my kids and donuts and stuff. That's basically all I do. So, cool, man.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, Dustin, thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure to speak with you, and I look forward to doing this again sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for the call, Dan. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, buddy. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.